half moon plants? It doesn't really exist, but let's try and propagate mine. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Rose, my pronouns are she, her. Today we're gonna chop up one of my Monsteras, and hopefully in this video you'll get to see them grow up as well, because I love to include updates. Today is the 3rd of September. It is actually the day that my grandpa passed away. He was 102 years old, so I'm dedicating this video to him. He was luckily really old already, but still, of course, it makes me a little bit sad. Also, mostly at the moment, it makes me very relieved. He really wanted to rejoin grandma. So let's start with showing you the plant. This is Luna. She used to be a mostly half moon plant, which will make this process quite interesting because when you have a plant that has half moon leaves, a half moon plant doesn't really exist, but it means that the stem is very sectoral in variegation as well. So some of the growth points might only grow fully white plants. That's what we have to keep an eye on. And some of them might be almost fully green. So that's why this project is extra interesting. Here's the stem. The top cutting itself doesn't have any aerial roots yet. There's a few baby nubbins growing here, and we have this one. So I'm gonna cut right underneath that node, that root, right above the other node. Then this node has like 3 aerial roots that are not super long, but still long enough. And from there on out, we have a bunch of roots, because I love to guide my aerial roots slowly down into the soil, usually with a little bit of moss as well, so that all the different nodes have their own roots already, and it's kind of an established root system already, which makes it easier to grow them out. Let's start the chopping. All right, let's see. We're doing it, we're doing it, we're doing it. Here you can very clearly see the growth point, so we have to be careful with this cut. Kind of like away from it. Hopefully that's good enough. Let's see, next one. This one has kind of short roots, but that's okay, we can make it work. Let's just do all the nodes, why not? This one we can definitely do. Okay, that was a pretty risky cut. You can see the growth point here, that light point, and then a very, very short stem. So we have to be careful with rot. This one as well, it's here. This one as well, it's here, cut. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new ones, yes. I'm letting them dry out a little bit, and then the ones with very little roots, like these, especially the top cutting, I'm gonna pop in water until they get secondary roots, which means that there's like, this is the primary root, there's one root coming from the stem of the plant, and then we're gonna wait until they get secondary roots and then pop it in soil. Actually, this one has so many roots that it might already be happy in soil. Also, I have some friends and family that I promised cuttings to. I'm not gonna keep all of these, of course. I'm probably not gonna keep any of them because I have my big ferry, and that's good. But the one with the big root balls can definitely be potted up as regular. This is a pretty big one, so let's see if I have pots. I select a pot that fits the size of the roots. I put some soil in the bottom and check where the growth point is, so that is facing upwards or sideways. Then I fill it with my airy soil mix, press down, and give it some water. I do this for all 6 cuttings. Some of them were quite wobbly, so I use a little stake and some Velcro to give it extra support. When a plant is steady in the pot, it is much easier for it to continue rooting and then growing. Okay, they all have pots. And the half moon leaves are kind of nice and visible again because they were crowded by the more higher up leaves. We have 5 pots that I'm gonna water and put away. And then the top cutting that's gonna go in a little vessel of water. One thing that I was recommended by Sean from Only Plants actually, and from other people as well, is to make your vessel small as possible and also put as little water as possible in there, because, so I would put it up to here, because the plant is making a rooting hormone in the water, and if it's a huge vessel, then it takes much longer for the plant to have made enough rooting hormone in the water to then start to root. So I try to make it as small as possible, so probably like a little glass of something, or maybe a bigger vase, because otherwise this is gonna topple over, but just with a small layer of water in it. And I'm also gonna pop in some rooting hormone because you might as well help it out. Okay, for you, I'll be back in 1 second with an update. For me, it's gonna take probably a few weeks. As you may know, we had a huge home renovation, and before that I sold many plants. This is all of them before I sold them. I kept 3 of them, and they lived with my brother-in-law during the renovation from October until January. And interestingly, they didn't die, but they didn't grow anything at all, even though they were in a very light spot. I think it was just too cold in there.
As soon as I moved them back though, that's when the good things started to happen. Here in the windowsill is the Luna cuttings that are now, oh, the sun is out. You can't see anything. There are 3 cuttings and all 3 have some growth. I'm really, really excited to see them finally. The variegated Monstera cuttings that lived with my brother-in-law are also finally growing. As soon as I moved them into my south-facing window here, the light that they were used to before, they all started growing. Hello, I almost forgot I was filming a Monstera propagation video, but I remembered yesterday and I have some cool updates to show you. These are the Luna propagations that I took a long time ago. Just checking for pests because I've been finding thrips all over my house, but it actually looks pretty good. So this plant, the poor plant, Mickey threw over one night and it was a mess because there was some water at the bottom of the pot. My whole bed was disgusting. There was soil everywhere. And I thought the plant was fine. It had grown this little profile, as it's called, like a first try at a little leaf. So I thought it was fine, except for the mess and the shock. But then I noticed this. It looks like it did crack, and I thought we could open it together and see, because it's actually probably broken there, the new leaf. It's pretty brown and not happy. How are we gonna do this? I can't see what I'm doing when I'm showing you. There was an opening here that I had found. Yes, so I'm trying to open the sheath here and get the leaf out, because maybe some of it can be rescued. Just breaking off the sheath a little bit to make it easier. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I'm trying carefully. Operation plant. Okay, that was pretty good. Now this part of the leaf has space to unfurl again, and as you can see, maybe, there's quite a bit of brown, so that wouldn't have made it anyway. So that's a bit sad, but I think it will be okay once it recovers. And we have to tell Mickey to not throw over any more plants. He's right behind the camera looking all adorable. This is the second cutting that I kept, and it has grown, not necessarily a profile, just a little, like a little sheath. And then the leaf it grew is this one. How adorable is that? Also really nice variegation already on it. That is so cute and looks really nice. I'm still sick, sorry for my voice. Last one is this cutting that has done the best out of all of them so far. Cause look, this is a leaf it grew. This type of variegation, this marbled variegation in the start. Oh, this is funky looking. Look at that. The shape is very weird. But this type of marbled variegation, in my experience, has been great in Monstera propagations because it is a lot of white, but it's not sectoral yet like Luna used to have. So when it's a baby, it has plenty of energy to grow because the green photosynthesizes, so it gives the plant energy, and it tells the plant we are healthy, we can keep going, even though we look a little bit funky. And I'm so excited to see the next leaf and for all of them, how they're gonna develop. So that's a quick update for ya.
1 week later.
Good morning. It's time for a quick Luna update because the cuttings are growing so fast now. This is them. Let's start over here because I haven't showed you this yet. This is the plant that fell and that I opened up the leaf from. You can see it's unfurling the rest of the leaf, so that is amazing. It's continuing to grow, even though it fell down here onto the bed and onto the floor. The second one, this leaf is so cute. I love it. I just noticed this morning that there is a new point, so it's growing another leaf so fast. And then this was the biggest one so far. That's also growing another leaf, and it looks like that already has fenestrations in it. So it's growing so fast now. It's just the beginning of April, but I think it's because of this window. It's so big now after the renovation, and it gets so nice and toasty in here. Ignore all the mess behind me. We are still working on the renovation, but yeah, it's kind of like a greenhouse with all the glass here, and it's a south-facing window, so it gets really nice and warm very quickly. I have to water the plants also very often up here, so that's a new thing I have to add to my chores, but I am so very happy with all the developments.
4 to 6 days later.
Quick update on the Luna cuttings. This one has opened. Of course, half of it broke off with what I did last update, but it looks like it has nice variegation all over, so that is good. The second one with the tiny baby leaf is having almost open leaf that looks a lot green. Like this side doesn't look like much variegation. This side has a little bit, but not a lot, and one little white bit there. So I'll have to see how that develops, if it gets any more nice variegation. Oh, this looks cute this way. And the last one with the bigger leaf. This one had super nice variegation. This new leaf, not so much. I feel like there might be a little bit, like here on the back, you can see a little bit, but not full white bits, but lots of fenestration. So that's really good for the second leaf. It's definitely sizing up quickly again.
And that brings us here, 2 days after what would have been my grandpa's 103rd birthday, which we celebrated very nicely with a lot of his and my family. This is the last Luna update, and it's a good one.
Graduation day.
These plants have grown 1 or even 2 leaves since the last update. Let's start with the slowest one first. This was the one that got damaged, and it definitely set the plant back a lot, but it grew another leaf here that looks perfect and happy and full of cat hairs, but that's no surprise to anyone. It just still felt a little bit unsure in the pot from falling over, and I think that's part of it. But it has some nice aerial roots. I guided this one in a circle inside the pot so that it would bring the plant some more stability. And I feel like this is a very good example of what a half moon plant can become. Because with a half moon plant, which I said in the beginning doesn't exist, but I had a plant that grew like 7 or 8 half moony leaves. And that means that probably the stem is more half green, half fully variegated. Not exactly, but you get what I mean. And apparently this cutting had the node on the green side of the plant. So there is variegation in it, but it's very mottled, very minimal. Nothing like the mama plant that was a lot of half sectoral patches of variegation. The second one I want to show you is this one with the half moon leaf as well. This was the one that grew the adorable tiny leaf first, and then this not so variegated leaf over here. It has since grown this leaf. Again, there is some mottled variegation, but it's not a lot. Like this whole thing here is almost fully green. And then there is another leaf almost coming out as well. And that does seem to have a little bit more white on it, but I'm opening it. It's so tempting. Yeah, this definitely has a better... Ooh, fell off my chair. Sorry. This has more mottled variegation for sure. So it's making a comeback, I feel like. I can even see the stem here that quite a lot of it is just fully green. And then there's a few lines of white on it. And they seem to be coming back into the stem now. So I guess I am lucky and this will get more variegation. The last one that I kept was this one, already a mottled leaf that grew this beautiful small but nicely variegated leaf, and then this bigger but not so variegated leaf, and look what it has grown since. This leaf has really nice different layers of variegation. You can see this is like what they call mint, kind of. It's not mint variegation, it's just the back layer of the leaf is variegated. If you look here, you can see it maybe a little bit better. And the front layer of the leaf, because it's usually, I think, 3 layers, that is white. So it looks all minty over here as well. And it is making another leaf already. These guys are growing so fast. I am so impressed. They seem to really love it in our new upstairs dormer window that is south facing, so it gets really nice and warm and lots of light. I do have to water them regularly because they dry out very quick, and they seem to be rooting very quickly as well. Might be time for a repot and maybe some sort of support, because as you can see, they are starting to really grow stems now that could do with like a moss pole type thing or even a bamboo stake. And that's what 9 months can do to Monstera. From fresh cuttings to 3 or even 4 leaves I am pretty impressed always with how fast they can grow if they want to. Definitely a lot faster than Thai constellations for sure. Let me know if you have any questions left after this video. It has been a long time putting this together, so hopefully it made sense. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe below if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!